wrong setting.
Oh,
Because we talked to Doobie for 3 seconds. But Doobie is not here. He will be later. But right now, I'm Kyle. I'm the editorial director for Laughing Place, and next to me is our chief animation expert, Tony.
hi. Good morning.
Morning.
This is day 2 of filling in for Doobie.
We should keep a calendar of these things.
Still part of my 2025 takeover.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Continuing, let's say, it's chief animation expert Doobie commenting. Salutations. Good morning, Fred. Nice to see you. But we're going to get started with this show the way we start every episode of the show. So yesterday when we checked it on the Disney stock price, it was $111.08, and now it's up to a rousing $111.23. So 15 cents up. That's from when we last checked it. For the day, it's up 0.037%. So basically flat, but it's always good to trend upwards. And with that, now we'll go and check the weather.
I still want
Good
my.
morning and welcome.
I was gonna say I still want my residuals for that monorail footage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make sure that somebody pays that to you.
Good morning and welcome to another LP Disney weather report. Brother Pele's in the back, Sweet Zena's in the front, cruising down the freeway in the hot, hot sun. Suddenly, red blue lights flash us from behind. Loud voice booming, please step out onto the line. Pele preach words of comfort. Zena just hides her eyes. Policeman taps his shades. Is that a Chevy 69? How bizarre, how bizarre, how bizarre. Let's get to the weather. Anaheim was foggy again this morning but is now just overcast and will reach 64 today. Walt Disney World will be sunny today and hit a high of 66 but will see an evening low of just 50 degrees. Castaway Cay will basically be 71 degrees all day today. Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point will be slightly cooler today, hanging out around 74. It's sub-freezing at Disneyland Paris tonight as the on-paper temperature is 26 and wind chill of just 20. Tokyo will once again see a high of 46 tomorrow, but this time it will be sunny. Shanghai shall also be sunny tomorrow, hitting a high of 54. Finally, Hong Kong will warm to 66 by lunch and stay there until sundown. And that will do it for another Disney weather update. Have a great day and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Couple things there. First, because you're here, Tony,
Okay.
Ethan decided to go with the 90s instead of the 80s.
I was wondering. I was
Progressed.
gonna ask. Yeah. Yeah,
So
I know
there's
I love
that.
my 90s music. So.
Oh, and then also I wanted to go through some more comments. Geo live from the monorail, going from Epcot to the TCC. So are you going park hopping? Is that what's going on?
Yeah,
there?
that sounds like it. And then they're chatting.
Say hello. Oh, yes, Happy New Year to you as well. Yes, then Doobie saying hello to everybody.
Doobie's asking Gio if it was going to be as crazy as yesterday. I don't know what that means particularly, other than I know Gio tried to do all the nighttime shows in one night, Luminous and Happily Ever After and Fantasmic, which is, I don't know if he did it. Let us know.
That sounds tiring. Give us an update, Gio. But first, Tony, you have something to tell us about something involving animation. That's why it's always assigned to you.
Down at the Academy Museum in Hollywood, they're having a conversation at the end of the month with Pixar's Peter Sohn, the director of Elemental and The Good Dinosaur. But I'll credit him with The Good Dinosaur, but it's always, he was the third in line of that kind of.
Stuck with The Good
He
Dinosaur.
got stuck with The Good Dinosaur. But he's been a story artist at Pixar for many years. He's worked on my personal favorite, WALL-E, among others. The voice of Squishy in Monsters U, Emile in Ratatouille. Elemental, I would say, is truly his own movie. Either way, they're having a conversation with him at the Academy Museum at the end of the month. So if our CEO is listening, send me out. It was interesting because it was like in the grand lobby of the museum. So I'm picturing just people on stairs and like over banisters listening to whatever this conversation will entail. But I'm excited to see what comes from it.
I was excited for him. That I know Elemental didn't open great, but then it
did
end up being a hit because I met him. I went out for The Good Dinosaur not for the opening, but for when they released it on Blu-ray. They did like a
Okay.
little junket, and so I got to interview him and meet him. And you say congratulations, and you could just tell there's like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Like, this is not the best situation. So, but he was very nice, and so I was glad to he got
Fred
that
points
win
out.
in the end.
Yes, he did. Fred points out he was also Socks and Lightyear, and that is true as well.
He's all.
I
The
wrote
cute
that in the
characters.
post. I just didn't think of it right now.
Yeah. Well, over at Walt Disney World, we have some new merchandise that we came across yesterday at World of Disney. So these are some new Starbucks tumblers that have the 4 current icons of Walt Disney World. So Cinderella Castle, Spaceship Earth, Tower of Terror, and then the Tree of Life. These are $44.99. So not cheap.
Have we
Do you
seen
like
a
those?
California one yet? I like them, but I lean more towards the California ones.
Yeah, I don't think we have, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did make a California version. I would like
Because they
that as
had,
well.
and we have the park specific ones that were last year, the year before. But yeah, so I'm curious to see if they have those too.
Also at World of Disney, we found these Epcot. We found these Figment things. There's a water bottle and then this open-headed mug, which I like the concept of these mugs, but have you ever tried to drink from one of these things? It's
Not since my youth, but
yeah,
yeah.
it's not a good idea. I don't recommend with hot beverages, even though that's what they're designed for. But yeah, we found these again at World of Disney at Walt Disney World, and these ones were both $25, so a lot more affordable than the Starbucks tumblers.
I'm going to point out this comment from Christian real quick, and it might be
Yeah.
a great segue. How's the weather out there? I'm in Orlando right now, where it is currently a 62 degrees and dropping because there's a cold front on its way, which is resulting in the closure of Blizzard Beach at Walt Disney World, the water park, because they can't seem to open both at one time anymore. But the Blizzard Beach is currently the open one.
That's
which
a
is
good
fitting
point.
for cold
I just
weather.
realized that new Walt Disney World commercial where it says 2 water parks, they really should say one, put in parentheses, one at a time. It needs an asterisk.
Then it takes off that S again, so you're making it singular. Walt Disney World's. Well, no, there's only one open.
Yeah.
So Blizzard Beach will be closed because of the cold weather. We don't know if it'll open again for sure on Saturday. We can speculate that it will. Because temperatures will go up again, but then there's another cold front right behind this one, so expect more in the future.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because they have that new benefit where when you check into your resort, you can go to the water parks for free, but not if they're not open. Although I guess if it was cold, you probably wouldn't want to anyway.
Not at Blizzard Beach. I know Typhoon Lagoon, the water's heated. I think in some spots of Blizzard Beach it's heated, but
I mean, it would not be thematically correct for it to be heated.
no,
That's true.
because I remember I don't like the lazy river there because it does pour melting ice over you at times,
Yeah.
and it's freezing.
Well, yesterday, I don't think this happened yesterday, but yesterday Disney shared photos of Chris
Yeah.
Evans, Captain America himself, at Magic Kingdom, which I will say, I had to research because they didn't tell you where this was. I had to compare the 2 carousels and look for clues to figure out which it was. So my first clue when comparing them was that you have this purple. That's how because at Disneyland, it's a green fence that's here, whereas this is purple. And then also in a couple other photos, you could see some Cinderella accoutrement on the carousel. That's the only way I could tell. Otherwise, they're very, very similar.
I will take this compliment from Doobie. Thank you.
Yeah, he's got a Toronto Maple Leafs hat, so there's that. But yeah, so just as he conquered Mjolnir, he was able to conquer the Sword in the Stone, able to lift it. Look at that. How nice of them to hit the button for him.
Somebody in a Fantasyland window with a little garage door opener.
Exactly. But yeah, that's fun. He'll of course be reports if reports are to believe, he'll be in Avengers Doomsday. We don't know as which character, but he was also in one of the biggest movies of 2024, Deadpool and Wolverine.
And Red One. I want to say it was the biggest movie, but there was a lot of hype beforehand. I want to know why that makes that special, because I feel like he's here 8 times a year anyway. So
they just thought it'd be a fun photo op, and they decided to share it on a slow news day, and I appreciate them for that. But Disney is going to be announcing their first quarter earnings, which you might be confused because it's only January 3rd. So how do they finish the first quarter? Well, it's the first fiscal quarter, which their fiscal year starts in October. So they're going to be discussing their earnings. Again, it's going to be a before the bell call. So that's 8:30 if you're on the East Coast, not so bad, but 5:30 in the morning if you're on the West Coast, which is where our CEO is, and we'll still be live blogging it because that's what we do. So be sure to check Laughing Place on that day. That's February 5th at 5:30 Pacific. We'll be live blogging, or you can go back and look at it later, but we'll have all the news, tidbits, and analysis you would want from such a thing. And we are going to take a look at the top 10 Disney Plus today, because I'll tell you what, I was going to do the uncensored one where people would, because I have the TVMA, but then I realized that there's an Amy Adams movie in the top 10 that I don't want to show. So I went through the trouble of creating a new profile to set to TV14, because I don't know why I couldn't just set mine to TV14. That would have been easier. But so we are going to be looking at the TV14 top 10.
What did you name the profile?
TV14.
Okay.
Paddington with Dogpool, just to really mess with it. Paddington, Skeleton Crew, Lion King, separated from the other Lion King finally. They were at 9 and 10 for a very long time. Dream Productions. The Mufasa.
Have you watched Dream Productions?
I've watched the first episode. We have yet to watch more. That's not because we didn't like it, just because life.
I watched all 4 in one sitting, and I really feel like that could have been not necessarily theatrical, but definitely a full feature. Anyway,
they do
go
that
on.
sometimes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, this special look I don't feel should qualify, but that's in there. Amber Alert, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
What's interesting?
Endgame, Infinity War, and Dawn of the Dinosaurs. I will say I did look at the TV MA one or the rated R one, and so Deadpool and Wolverine I think was number 1. The Amy Adams movie was in there, as was John Wick.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I want to know how many people picked the Mufasa first look thinking it's Mufasa.
They're like, oh, I got premiere access.
It's already on.
Well, looking in our green room, I'm going to call an audible, and we're going to go ahead and move on to... Before we get to our special guest, I do have a couple other things I want to shout out around LP. Yesterday, Maxon wrote a new article about, he's calling Strange Attractions. He's actually got a second one already in the can. But he looked at Cedar Point's Disaster Transport, which you might have heard about. It was an indoor bobsled type coaster. I think Defunctland did a video on it. But yeah, so he goes back and looks at that. Obviously, I think I've mentioned before, he's a huge coaster fan of all parks, not just Disney. So that's an interesting read. If whether you remember it or you've never heard of it, I would check that out.
That attraction is also very, very, very unique. Sorry, Doobie. Because it was a bobsled ride, and then they had to enclose it, and they decided to enclose it and make it a theme because Space Mountain worked at Disneyland and Disney World, and there's so much to it, and it's fantastic backstory. I want to see how he tells the story.
Yeah, and then also this morning, Mac published his look at all of his park visits from 2024, being a local to Orlando, but also, as you can see here, getting to do some international trips, going to Hong Kong and all that, and having a baby somewhere in there. I'm sure that affected his count. Yeah, so you can check
definitely
that out
towards the latter half of the year, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I want to know how many times he's gone to Universal. Every time I message him, I'm like, you at Universal today?
He not nearly as many Halloween Horror Nights visits this year.
That's true. That is true.
But right now, we're going to bring on our very special guest.
Do you feel that there's a lot of upward mobility in the Muppets organization?
Star Wars crochet finger puppets. Wow, real raptor.
I
had a Scooter action figure when I was very young, like 4 or 5 years old, and my dog chewed it all up. Hi everyone, it's Mike Celestino with Laughing Place.
Hello, Mike Celestino of Laughing Place.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
That was
Doing
the
well.
same wave. That was the same wave he did with Santa.
We're here to talk about all of your Star Wars goodness. I know you did another Who's the Boss yesterday. I saw you have a comic review. So where do you want to start? What do you want to talk about?
We can start with Skeleton Crew.
Okay. I have not watched. Which episode was this?
This was 6 of 8.
I might have watched it on Wednesday on the holiday. Does that sound right? What happened? Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Came out Tuesday evening. It was a KB.
Why don't you tell me the name of the Skeleton Crew episode you want to
Was
see?
this the Bryce Dallas Howard directed one?
Directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
All right,
yes.
I did watch it then.
Focused on the character of KB, the cyborg girl, who we really hadn't had the spotlight put on her yet. So it was nice to get some good character moments with her. It was about the kids kind of trying to reclaim their ship after they've been betrayed by Jude Law's character Jod. And then meanwhile, he's been taken prisoner by the pirates again and has to convince them to go to the planet Aten to seek out the treasure. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I still liked last week's more. That was my favorite one so far. But yeah, it was a good time. It had some good character beats, some fun action at the end as well. And it had trash crabs, so you can't really complain there.
Query.
Yes.
So Jude plays Jod?
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
That character also has about half a dozen aliases so far
Okay.
as well.
And you can hear Mike talk about it with his guest, Justin, over on Who's the Boss, now available.
Yep.
I know Justin.
And
So
to Doobie.
that was fun.
Yep.
I will say, I have a bone to pick with you guys. Speaking of KB, I changed my profile image on Slack weeks ago to KB because my initials are KB, and no one has said anything about this. I've been waiting for someone to notice, and it's time to just give up. It's not going to happen.
Well, I have a fun kind of tidbit about that. When I first heard the name of that character, and I knew this is like an 80s inspired series, I wondered, is KB named after KB Toys, the
be.
shop that I grew up going to? So
Spelled out Kaybe.
Right. I was at Disneyland when the premiere was happening, and I ran into the co-creator of the show, Chris Ford, and I asked him that question, and he confirmed it for me. It is KB is indeed named after KB Toys.
Nice.
That's cool. I hadn't thought about that, but I absolutely remember KB Toys. They were like the ones you'd find in malls, not quite as I don't know if high end is the right word, but not quite your Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the Walden books of toy stores.
Yeah.
Is there another character named Jeffrey?
No Jeffrey.
Okay.
Not yet.
But then you also reviewed this comic, Ahsoka.
Yeah. So this is the 7th of 8 issues of the Star Wars Ahsoka comic book, which is a direct adaptation of the live action Disney Plus series. So basically, if you really like that show and you want to read it in comic book form, this is where you want to go. I do really like the art in this miniseries. I like it way more than they did the Obi-Wan Kenobi series last year as a comic book adaptation, and that art was I don't like that artist, to be honest with you, but he basically like traces I don't know, he's like freeze framing the show and drawing the exact frames of what you saw in the series. At least this one has like an artistic interpretation of what we saw.
So basically you're saying I'm going to find you at Comic-Con trying to strangle him, calling him a tracer.
I have no ill
Amy.
will against him. Oh, I see. Sorry, I haven't seen Chasing Amy in 25 years, but
that's fair.
Yeah, this is, it's fine if you like adaptations in comic book form.
Well, anything else Star Wars we should know about? What do you have going on? You want to plug, tease?
Not a whole lot outside of that. Oh, I did. Yeah, actually, if you could bring up the review I did of a novel called Star Wars: The Reign of the Empire, The Mask of Fear. This is actually really well. What?
Sorry, I just laugh at how you have that thinking. Like, I want to make sure I get all parts of this right.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Well, this is the first of a trilogy. So the trilogy is called Reign of the Empire, and then each will have their own little subtitle. But honestly, I really love this a lot. It zooms in on the political side of Star Wars, and it takes place right after, like weeks after Revenge of the Sith. So after the Empire has come into power. And it's about the Imperial Senate and how they're, specifically Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, how they're dealing with the aftermath of the Emperor's rise and the death of the Jedi. Bail Organa is trying to prove that the Emperor has faked his evidence of why he needed to wipe out the Jedi, and it's really, really interesting. Actually, kind of like bridges the gap between the prequels and Andor really, really well. So really highly recommended. But this doesn't come out until the end of February. I got an advance a digital copy of it that I read, and they encouraged early reviews, so I put mine up. I guess they're looking to do some pre-sales there, but highly recommended when that comes out.
Well, I hope you make the dust jacket.
That would be awesome. I have not been. I've had my quote on a Star Wars commercial for Ahsoka, the TV show, but I have not had a printed any kind of printed Star Wars material have my name on it. So that would.
What
be
was
great.
the quote for Ahsoka?
I think it's the adventure is only beginning, which is neither a positive nor a negative. Which seems to be the case for me when they pick my quotes, because the Lion King Mufasa one was, I think it was like drama, action, laughs, or something. Yeah, those are things that are in the movie.
They treat your reviews like the Pee-wee's magic word of the day. There's like, he said it.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thanks very much for joining us.
Sure.
I'm sure you have more stuff to do, so.
Not really.
That's all right. But we're going to move along to our next section.
And I've had my share of bad reviews. I still remember my first good one, though. Everything else in this production of Our Town was simply terrible. Joey Tribbiani was abysmal.
And speaking
that
of
was
abysmal,
shorter than I thought it was.
It's okay. You're allowed to drink water. I'll allow it. Our own Alex Reif did a review of the next season of Goosebumps on Disney Plus and Hulu, I believe, starring David Schwimmer, of all people. There he is. There's not a subhead, but the headline is Goosebumps: The Vanishing channels nostalgia and fresh frights. So here's what Chatty said he thought of it. The review of Goosebumps: The Vanishing praises the series for successfully blending nostalgia and modern teen-centric mystery, noting its tighter narrative compared to the first season. It highlights how the show draws attention from R.L. Stine's classic stories while introducing new, engaging elements like a found footage episode and stronger character development. The cast, particularly David Schwimmer and Anna Ortiz, are noted for their charismatic performances. The reviewer is eager for the conclusion of the season. And Chatty estimates that Alex would give it a 9 out of 10, but in reality, Alex gave it a 5 out of 5, which is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So Chatty's underestimating his love of this second season. Did you watch Goosebumps at all?
I watched a few episodes of the first one, and I got into it, but not enough to carry on. I probably got distracted by something else. God knows, probably like Big City Greens came back or something like that. But yeah.
And did you buy Goosebumps books at the Scholastic Book Fair back in the day?
I had the whole. I still have it somewhere. It's in a storage unit in Washington State, I think. But it was all I think 62 of the Goosebumps books. But yeah.
Tony, I'm going to warn you, this bumper is very short, so don't go anywhere.
And the rest. Oh, okay.
You want to tell us something about Disneyland Paris that they just...
they have new Lion King merchandise out there. And merchandise is a loose term. Popcorn buckets and cups.
This is definitely not the merchandising department. It's the food and beverage department that gets revenue from this.
But let's take a look at that Simba popcorn bucket. Definitely more appealing than the one we had at Animal Kingdom where you have to hold it up for it to look right.
This is a sipper.
Oh, that's a sipper?
Yeah.
Either way, my qualm with this is I don't remember that happening in the movie. Do you remember that happening in the movie?
No, but it's adorable.
It is very, very cute.
Maybe it does happen. Somebody tell us. Somebody knows the
You
Lion
might
King
be
better than we
mixing
do.
with Tarzan because Tarzan has a butterfly land on him, and then
I haven't seen Tarzan.
What?
I don't think I've ever actually seen Tarzan. Now that I think about it.
Doobie agrees with me. Better looking than the old Simba bucket. That is true.
The
Yeah, that one where you have to literally hold it up to get it to look right.
So yeah, you have this. I like the French gobelet Simba.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it now the Simba goblet.
Yes.
But if you keep going, you'll see the other mug. I think is what they describe it as. Yeah, I like
Mug
that one because it
Simba.
does channel 1994 quite effectively.
I mean, this just looks like JTT, doesn't it? I
Sure.
Just picture him doing that.
JTT in '94.
Yeah. I didn't mean today. Have you?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's.
I don't
seen
think
him.
I've
He's
seen
like
him
the most
today, no.
reclusive child actor.
Fred is equally as shocked as I am that you have never
I'm
seen
sorry.
Tarzan.
I didn't actively avoid it. I just so happens I haven't seen it. All right. Let's get on to some more fun stuff.
The fun stuff.
Tony, you requested to talk
I
about
requested
on
this
the show.
because so every now and then, first of all, Roosevelt's, again, thank you for this shirt. It is Goofy Movie, and I'm wearing it because I wanted to talk about this. They're back in the day, and by back in the day, I mean 5-6 years ago when Roosevelt's first came to my attention. They caught my attention with Nickelodeon designs. And I love like traditional stuff mixed well. Somehow, I mean, a licensing deal, let's be real. They got a hold of the model sheets for a Goofy Movie, some of which have never been seen before, and made them into a shirt. It's the one second from the left. I don't think we can zoom in, but they actually have genuine like character designs and stuff like that. It's easily one of the top 5 shirts I've seen them produce since I started buying them.
The
years
art
ago.
of one, or
No, it's called the name of it is The Art of Goofy Movie, but
Okay,
it's legit model sheets and character sheets, even to a point where I don't know if you can zoom in on this, but if you look around, you could even see early models of the characters. Like right there on the pocket, you have Max and Roxanne as we know them. But if you scroll around a little bit, you'll see early Roxanne as well, and like early, just like maybe even characters that aren't even in the movie or in the background of the movie. So it's a really
rough poses.
Cool. It almost makes me not want to wear it. Like I would get it and maybe like take a chunk and frame it. But yeah, I think it's really cool.
It is very cool. I didn't know all of that, so I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. That it's not just merchandise.
Yeah. Because like so many you see like clip art assets that are on everything. I've seen
Not on Roosevelt's per se, but or do you say?
On some of them, not often.
Sometimes
but like
Disney
this
does
is
have
the
really
most
tight
original.
restrictions on like you can use these assets. And
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it was Roosevelt's fault. I would say it was Disney's fault for allowing them what to use. But like you'll see the same Donald image on a cell phone case that you will on a shirt. So, but yeah,
cool. I'm trying to find my next bumper and I forgot where it is. There it is. I saw this today and thought that I don't know how to refresh. I'm just going to have to wait for it to cycle again. But this is the most accurate depiction of a Walt Disney World visit that I've ever seen. Play. There's no sound anyway. So, okay, I'll just refresh it. It doesn't want to cooperate with me.
basically.
That parking deck, the arrivals, is just so awful. It's only beaten by one time when I was in Hong Kong. It was midnight, and I step out, and I could still just feel the humidity. I was like, how is this possible? But yeah.
We just flew back in a couple days ago, and we landed. And by the time we got outside, it was around 11:30 at night, and it was just boof, like just hit us like a ton of bricks.
Yeah. All right. Well, now we're going to move on, and we're going to bring on another special guest. Doobie's here.
Hey,
Hello. Good to see
Yeah.
you.
great to thank. I just want to thank Tony personally for having more fun at his job than he would be if he had to write instead.
True. Thanks.
Well, I brought you both on so you can compete in this Day in Disney history. We only have 2 items, but we're going to make do. On this day in 1975, someone was born. And I will read it. Pretty revealing. I think Tony has the upper hand in this one, but let's see. There once was a voice with great flair. In cartoons, he'd appear everywhere. From Goof Troop to Max, he'd voice with such tracks, bringing charm with a sound beyond compare.
Yeah, that sounds
Born
like
in
a Tony.
1975.
So young. Who voices Max? How hard is this?
Max is oh my gosh, it's the same guy who did Binks.
Who voices Binks?
I'm trying to remember his name right now. He's got a brother too. Marsden.
does.
Jason Marsden.
Jason Marsden. Yes, that's him.
Impressive. Hi, Rebecca.
I won, so it eliminates Doobie all completely.
Yeah, it should be. It's an elimination challenge. No, I'm allowed 1. That was like the only time I've messed up the screen today. Doobie does it like 5 times a day. So, and finally, our second one. On this day in 1994, an Epcot attraction closed. It would be replaced by something similar but different with a different name.
Kitchen Cabaret to Food Rocks.
It is Kitchen Cabaret is what closed. Yes, good job.
Oh,
I
man.
didn't even
Hey,
have to
Tony.
give you any other hints.
Tony,
What's up?
no pressure, but how long does that Christmas tree last in your house?
Probably till this weekend.
Okay. So you go with the Disney timing.
Oh no, we're not going past marathon weekend.
I have a friend who took their Christmas tree down the next day, December 26th. It was at the curb. Do you think that's a little overkill?
A little. I at least go through New Year's. So
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we got one more segment, and it's one that Tony, I'm sure, is going to be thrilled about.
Oh, yeah.
Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da, da-da-da, da-da-da, tss, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da. I'm not doing it live.
Another copyright infringement prevention.
I didn't even try with that when I learned my lesson. But as Benji pointed out, and I knew when I did it, that is the Fox theme, not the ESPN Monday Night Football one, but it's the one that I think of when I think of the NFL. So sorry, ABC.
Does Disney not own Fox?
Disney does not own Fox, believe it or not.
I'm so
Who
confused.
did? Was it ABC that was? Are you ready for some football?
Yes.
No, oh, yes, it is. Okay. I guess I could have done that.
I believe so. Maybe it moved. I don't know. Anyway, that's not
I was
what we're
getting
here for.
confused with been waiting all day for Sunday night, which, as a video I watched pointed out, it's like, why not make it been waiting all week for Sunday night? That's more anticipation.
Yeah, Ready for Some Football was Monday night, was ABC Monday Night Football. Anyway,
Cool.
all right, so this is the last week, and I am down by 5 games, and I am playing to win. I am playing to win, so I'm going to let Kyle guess every game first, and then I'm going to decide where I'm going to differ to try to catch him.
And I haven't researched which teams are able to rest their starters or anything, so
I have. I'm ready. All right,
Okay.
Panthers and Falcons.
I'll take the Falcons.
All right, I'm not that dumb. Commanders at Cowboys.
Commanders.
I'm going to. No, I'm not. I can't.
You
I
have
can't go
to.
against my team. It's
We
a rule.
have rules, Doobie.
Chiefs?
See, this is a toss-up. It was very close last time. The Chiefs are playing better, but we're going to be playing.
Kyle, the Chiefs are the best team in football.
I
They are
understand, but
your.
they're not
you
playing
have
their
to-
starters.
You have to pick them the same way I have to pick the
Okay,
Cowboys.
I will choose the Chiefs.
All right, I'm going with the
I
Broncos.
believe in Carson Wentz, is what I'm saying. I'm
Vikings
gonna
at
take.
Lions.
This is tough. I'm taking the Vikes. I know the Lions are a bit beat up. I feel bad for them, but come on,
feeling-
Sam Darnold.
I'm feeling good about my chances right now. Bears at Packers.
Packs.
Yeah,
Pack
I'm not,
go.
I'm not going to be dumb here. Texans at Titans.
Texans.
Same. Jaguars at Colts.
Jags.
Yeah, this is one where I was going to go opposite you regardless. Pat McAfee called out the Colts last weekend. Pat McAfee.
Well,
a
they
punter.
lost to the Giants,
What does
who
he call
gave
it?
up the first pick in the draft to beat the Colts.
As Manning would say, a drunk, explosive punter called out the team. So they are going to fight back. They are going to win. Chargers at Raiders.
Chargers.
Yeah.
Although the Chargers, are they resting people? Who knows? I don't know.
Chargers,
Doesn't matter.
Seahawks at Rams.
Rams.
Seahawks. Bills at Patriots.
Bills.
Yeah. Dolphins at Jets.
After the performance of, and are they benching Aaron Rodgers this week?
Aaron Rodgers is talking about how he realizes. No, yes, they're benching Aaron Rodgers. The Dolphins are sure to win.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is talking about how he knows this could be his last game ever. He is going out there to win this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Giants versus Eagles.
Eagles. Saquon Barkley gonna.
He's actually
take a
sitting.
record.
He's actually sitting against his former team when he could break the record. They decided to sit him.
Yeah, that's probably smart. You don't want him to get injured.
Yeah. So I think the Giants are going to win. 49ers at Cardinals. I cannot remember the playoff implications if the Cardinals need this.
They're out.
Okay, so there are none. All right.
I think both teams are out.
Bengals at Steelers.
I'll take the Bengals.
Yeah, they're on a roll. Saints at Bucks.
Bucks.
Yeah, the
the
Saints
old
are,
Browns
although,
versus the new Browns. I'll take the new Browns. Well, I guess the old Browns are the new. I'll take the Ravens. I'll just be clear.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Saints on this one. I think, as they say, they have something to play for. So I have many opportunities to catch you.
That's
I'm
true.
feeling good about this. That's all I came on for. But I got.
All right, cool. Well, anyway, that's the end of the show. So he could have held on for 30 more seconds, but we have a walk and talk today, right, Tony?
Forget my name. At 3:00 Eastern time, 12:00 Pacific. Yes, Jeremy and I will be at Disney Springs, and I will be pretty much right here. So you'll just hear my voice if you watch, but you'll see Disney Springs.
Nikki B calling you out for looking so interested. Fred going with his Bears. It's very brave of you. I wish you luck. And he also got Jason Martin. But anyway, that's enough for us. We will be back on Monday in one form or another. So we'll see you then. Have a great weekend.
One form or another.